Bienvenidos and welcome back to another segment of La Plática. This is Dr. Jose Leyba with Arizona Body Storage and Latino USA TV, bringing you stories from our community, talking about our culture, our language, education, all the issues that are important to us. And today our community is under attack. So I want to let everyone know that here at Arizona Body Storage, we support our immigrant brothers and sisters, and we oppose what's happening to them right now. And we want to thank all of our community leaders for being the voice for our community. So what we're trying to do today is to demonstrate to our public the type of growth, the type of individuals that we have in our community. And today I'm very happy to introduce Mr. Juan Chavez, a young entrepreneur, and we're here at his business, Collective Coffee. He's been a teacher, he has a master's in theology, he's a minister, and he's giving back to his community. So welcome, Juan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the work that you all are doing.
Well, I know that you've had an interesting childhood. You grew up like right down the street from here, and South Phoenix used to have a bad stigma. Now it's all changed. Tell us about your childhood growing up.
Yeah, I did. I grew up on 39th Ave in Southern, just about 30 seconds from where our coffee shop is. And, growing up, I remember where we're sitting right now was all, farmland. And to see the development over the years, like you mentioned, there is some negative stigma comments on our community, but I've always seen the beauty here. My heart's here, my roots are here. My family and I moved back here to our community because we wanted our kids to be raised here and invested in the beauty of South Phoenix. And yeah, so born and raised, right around the corner from here, and now continuing to give back and do life in this community.
Well, I know as we were talking earlier before the interview, you mentioned that you had a couple of hurdles to overcome before you kind of got your act together. You went here to Cesar Chavez High Schoo, go Cesar Chavez.
Yeah. Champions, that's right. Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So growing up, my parents were both involved and phenomenal parents. One of the hardest things I had to face though was the reality of their divorce when.
Sure.
As I got older and just kind of dealing with the ins and outs of that and going back and forth between my mom and dad. Thankfully now they're real great friends with each other and very involved in each other's lives and in my life and our kids' lives. But growing up, I didn't have any positive role models around me.
Absolutely, and that's what we need in our community, right?
Yeah, we need a lot of those positive role models, and I didn't see a lot of that, and specifically in my neighborhood. A lot of the folks my age and older were from Southside 35th, and I was involved in sports growing up, so that kept me real busy and active. My parents made sure that I stayed busy and I wasn't idle, sitting at home doing nothing, because we know that could lead to, a lot of negative things. But I didn't have those positive role models, and I needed to look up to someone. And I think all of us at some point want to look up and follow in the footsteps of someone we admire. For me, that was one of my older cousins.
Okay.
And, he was a graduate from Chavez and, had all the girls and, big time athlete, real successful. And I looked up to him, man. And I wanted to be like him and follow in his steps. And, but there wasn't anything positive in that. That led to me getting high for the first time at a young age, and that opened up the door for me to learn about the party life, the party scene, and just getting caught up in a bunch of negative things that I shouldn't have. So.
And that's okay. I really appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
So that our audience and that there's young people out there knowing, hey, we all make mistakes, right?
Absolutely.
But we can all overcome those mistakes by just having somebody in our lives that can help us out. So keep going, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, I mean, none of us are perfect, and we shouldn't be expected to be perfect. But that got me caught up, and one thing led to another, man. And I found myself caught up with the law a couple of times, caught up with the cops. And
no, not such a nice young man, a business owner, a minister, getting caught up with the cops. Oh, okay, it happens to a few of us.
Yeah, it happens to us, man. It happens to us. But as I look back, I see how God's hand was on my life. Specifically one time at Chavez Park, underage, hanging with my friends. Just bought some weed and was smoking. We're drinking. Cops stop us, bring us to their vehicle, and the cop says, "Hey, you're lucky I stopped you," and that he didn't. And he pointed to a cop down the way, and that guy had a young man, put in handcuffs on the street, and he took our information, told us we'd be expecting something in the mail from the courts. And I never got that. I never got that piece of mail.
That's amazing. Somebody's looking out for you, somewhere.
Looking out for me. Yeah, God was definitely looking out. So my friends, unfortunately, got that, and I didn't. But looking back, I see why, because the doors were open for me at age 19 to get a job with the city of Phoenix. And that was really the trajectory that transformed my life and changed my life. And the path I was walking down, things really took a turn for me, starting with the city of Phoenix right there.
Well, that's an amazing story of overcoming that hurdle. And yes, there was someone looking out for you. But tell me, what was your motivation to get an education? Here you have this turbulent sort of childhood, and then all of a sudden you get a good job, and then you start getting an education.
Yeah. So I was working for the City of Phoenix Parks and Rec at the time, supervising these high school students, and my life changed at age 19. One of my coworkers invited me to church. I heard about the love of God, and my heart changed, my life changed. And I had this passion in me to want to work with young people, to want to give back and be the role model that I never had, the positive role model and the light that I didn't have growing up. So I had this desire for getting back in my community and trying to bring some change and be a change agent. And I said, God, I wish I knew you in high school. I could have been a light and would have told all my friends about a better path. And one thing led to another, and I ended up getting a job at the same high school I graduated from as a teacher. And
hey, that is really amazing. That you've gone through this challenges, and then you overcame, and you became a teacher. That's awesome.
I never thought I'd be back. Never wanted to go back, but never thought I'd be back as a teacher. And I realized really early on the value of a teacher. Someone who sees the students 5 days a week, the majority of their week, every single day. I learned the value of memorizing names and calling students by names at the door, greeting them at the door with some kind of contact, a handshake, a fist bump, but making them feel seen and known and recognized, making eye contact with them and knowing that they're not just a number or, they're not just a statistic, but they're a person, they're a human being, and being able to recognize the value of connecting with them. And then I had 45 to 50 minutes every day to make an impact and to teach them character qualities and life skills that I knew I needed and my friends needed and our community needs, growing up. So we taught a lot from 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, Stephen Covey, things like beginning with the end in mind and first things first, and the value of synergy and working together and not being on an island or being by yourself. And I really started to see the transformation that this brought in students' lives. But one of the things I recognized very early on was how common the lack of father figures were in the students that I was working with. And in our community.
That is so true. I put a plea out to dads and fathers, please be involved in your kids' lives, because it is very important that both parents be involved as much as possible in the lives of their kids. So my hat goes off to you, brother. Really does.
Yeah.
So anyways, keep on going, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, this is good. It's extremely important. It's one of the most important things we could be involved in. So, I was a football coach for 3 years at Chavez High School. And while I was teaching, I would open up my room during lunch for students to come and hang out. They don't want to hang out outside. It's hot. So open up my classroom, let them come and eat. And one of my students got into an argument. He was also a football player of mine. Got into an argument with his girlfriend. He's a big linebacker, swole, guy, and his girlfriend's real petite, and he got in her face and almost got physical with her. So I told him to leave the room. I had her calm down, stay in the room with some other students and kind of breathe for a little bit. And I wanted him to take a breather. So when I went outside and confronted him, I sat down with him at one of the tables outside. And I said, hey, man, this is, what's going on? Why are you treating her this way? And started talking through manhood and the way that men should respect women and treat them and serve them and care for them. And he said, man, I agree with everything you're saying, Coach, but I never had a father in my home to show me these things. I never saw that modeled in the house I grew up in. So I asked my students the next day, how many of you do not live at home with your biological father? And 70% of my class raised their hand. And we began to talk through the effects of that. And we scrapped a lesson for the day, and just talk through that. And I had students in tears and went home and said, God, what would you have me do with this need? You know, this is a common need in our community. And I started working with a group of 12 men and 12 young students, just breaking bread with them on Thursday nights in my home, sharing a home cooked meal and talking through fatherhood and being a faithful and present husband and the importance of that. And that led to another, one thing led to another, and that group multiplied to a group in Central Phoenix with students from Camelback High School. And before I knew it, you know, the Chavez reached out and said, hey, we got these students here, you know, can you help? And we took what we were teaching in the home and developed a curriculum, because I had my years of experience in the classroom of developing curriculum. And then we started a group called Man Up and started working with some students at Chavez.
Well, that is really great, and my hat goes off to you and all the other teachers out there. And so, as you were talking, this is deja vu for me, because I used to do a lot of the same things. It's good to see that young people like yourself, teachers, are doing that with kids, treating them as human beings with respect. Now, as we close, you have your coffee shop here, but it also doubles as a church, right? Yeah. So, what's your closing message about Collective Coffee? I want all our viewers, you got to come here. I had the best cappuccino right now. I can tell you, I'm a cappuccino lover, and I've had the best one here at your shop, so thank you for that. But as we close, tell us about Collective and then your church.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on great taste in coffee, great taste in food. We have a phenomenal team that runs the shop here, but we didn't want to see a coffee shop lost in our community. There's not a lot of businesses like this that exist here, especially owned and run by people from the community. So our slogan is from the community for the community, and we are really about that. You know, we open our doors to everyone in our community. The name Collective is intentional, you know, that we live in a diverse community, South Phoenix, Levine, and we want to celebrate the diversity that exists here. We want to highlight the beauty of the people who live in our community, and we want to provide a space where they can come and work and collaborate and celebrate and enjoy delicious tasting coffee and food while they're at it.
Well, I saw that happen right now. A gentleman who's homeless came in and said that the Starbucks isn't letting them plug in anymore and spend time there, but you made him feel at home.
Yeah.
We bought him a coffee, you know, and I think he's going to be one of your best customers coming back. So as we close in the last 30 seconds, what would you like to say to our audience about Collective Coffee and about your church?
Yeah. Collective Coffee is open Monday through Saturday, right off of 35th Avenue in Southern. Would love for you guys to come out and visit. And then beloved South Phoenix meets out of this same venue on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. And we extend the invite to anyone in our community to come on out and visit.
Tell me again your slogan.
From the community, for the community.
All right, I love that slogan. As we close, from the community and for the community, this is Dr. Jose Leyba with Arizona Body of Stories and Latino USA TV signing off. Make sure to download the app, Latino USA TV, and you can see all of our programs. I want to thank Juan. I'm so proud of him. I admire him, respect him, and love him as a brother, someone who's really making a difference in our community. That's what we are all about here at Arizona Body of Stories and Latinos USA TV. Muchas gracias. Hasta la próxima vez.